A rate is a measure of how two quantities change with respect to each other. In this section, we will take a look at how rate is related to the slope of a line. Here we have a comparison of two pay rates, with rate being the total pay per hours worked. By comparing the pay over a specified period of time, we compare the two rates. Note that the rate graphed with the purple line is greater, so its graph is steeper. And let's take a closer look at the rates of each of these. For the lower line, if we pick 2 points and take a look at the change that occurs, we see that we have a pay raise of $10 for 1 hour. So if we compare that pay per hour, this lower graph has a $10 per hour pay rate. The steeper line, picking 2 points and comparing the change in the pay to the time, we find a $12.50 per hour pay rate. So here we have it. The rate is greater, and result when graphed is a steeper line. Slope is another kind of ratio that describes the steepness of a line and the direction that it slants. Slope can be defined as the ratio of rise per run, and here we have a line graphed, 2 points, where the rise is the change in the vertical direction and the run is the change in the horizontal run. In this example, we have a rise of 3 units per run of 2 units, which gives us a rise over run, a 3/2, or a slope of 3/2. Looking at some other examples, here we have a second line, and if we look at the slope here, this is a flatter line than the previous one, and if we would do the calculation, pick a point, what kind of rise, 1 for a run of 1, 2, 3, 4. Both of these positive, by the way. We're rising a +1 and running a +4, rising a +1, running a +4, that generates this line with that slope. Here we have a steeper line, and if we look at this, it's also oriented the same direction. We're running between the third and the first quadrant as the other 2 lines were, and here we're given that the slope has a rise of 3 for every 1 positive run, and if we follow a point, from this point I'm rising a +3 and running a +1. Rising 3 more and running 1 will generate that line that we have there. This example has the line eventually running between the second and the fourth quadrants, and the slope ends up being a negative slope. If we follow the rise over run where that's coming from, a rise of -1 means we have dropped 1 and are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ratio of rise negatively means we're dropping 1 and running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the positive direction. In this line, we also have a graph that's running between the second and the fourth, which is going to result in a negative slope. And actually, this has a negative slope of -2/1. To show that one, we're rising a -2 with that slope ratio. So rising negatively means we're dropping 2 for every +1 that's being run. Now, a -2/1 is the same as 2 over -1. So likewise, we could have picked a point, risen a +2, but then needed to run a -1, which is to the left. Rise a +2, run a -1. With that ratio is generating this line.